What do you want to do?
I don't know. We don't have an intro. All right, welcome everybody to the Glacier Gamble podcast. We got some good stuff for you today. Episode 39, one away from 40. We're old as hell. My birthday's on the way. Joe's Vegas trip is on the way, and we are coming at you with some sick Marvel news and some miscellaneous news. Yeah, we actually got some good stuff. We got some new castings for Sony, including Sony saying Madam Web is their new version of Doctor Strange, is their own version. We got some Miss Marvel stuff because, you know, that's our thing. Echo news, Moon Knight news, and then our miscellaneous news. We have one thing for DC and then two other fun things with Sonic and Kung Fu Panda. Let's start with the Marvel news. The Madam Web series, which was going to have Dakota Johnson playing Madam Web. Sony announced that Madam Web is going to be their version of Doctor Strange.
I'm guessing so. Some mythical-esque powers. Spider-Woman has like psionic abilities. We haven't been Jessica Drew hasn't been cast yet. So waiting for the Spider-Woman casting. So possibly Sydney Sweeney. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what Sydney Sweeney's playing. However,
she's huge right now.
Into that, she has been cast as the co-star alongside. Will be the second highest billed actor in the movie.
A Silver Sable, maybe? I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody even knows what it could possibly be. We just know that she's a huge actor right now on one of the biggest shows.
Yeah, for them to get Sydney Sweeney, that's very good for Sony. So
I haven't seen a single second of Euphoria. I hear a lot about it because it's like the most watched show.
From what I've seen is everyone says that she's probably the best actress on that show.
Isn't Zendaya on that show?
Zendaya is on that show, but a lot of people flawless about. I mean, you know Zendaya.
Oh no, I wasn't saying like in terms of comparison. I was just saying like, isn't she on that show? I mean, I've heard a lot about that show. In those same conversations, a lot of people are saying how good Sydney Sweeney is. I have heard basically nothing but good things about her. I just unfortunately never seen her in anything. I only hear about these things, so right. I can't really form an accurate opinion without providing good information. Right. All I know is she is a huge actor right now. These are the sort of people DC needs to target if they want to combat with Marvel in terms of actor wise. If they let Marvel, especially like Sony's Marvel Universe, Extended Marvel Universe, whatever they want to call it,
SUMC, the Sony Universe of Marvel characters,
and their extended universe of Spider-Man, their Sony Spider-Man universe. Marvel still is going to get a cut from the Sony Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is for Madam Web, we didn't know much about it. Like we've heard all their spin-off kind of series. So like Venom, it's like, all right, they got Tom Hardy, nice. Like it's like Morbius, they got Jared Leto, nice. Craven, they got Aaron Taylor Johnson, nice. And it's like Madam Web, they got Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney right now. It's like nice. It's like they're not missing on the leads.
Whatever it ends up being, I think it would be interesting if it was Spider-Woman. I doubt it's Spider-Woman. Some people said she's going to be Gwen, and I was like, I don't think they would cast Gwen alongside Madam Web. And it sounds like it's supposed to be like, it's not like she's supposed to be the combatant. It sounds almost like it's supposed to be a duo. Yeah. Like it sounds like Sydney Sweeney is going to be a character that works alongside Madam Web. So I doubt it'll be Gwen, and I don't think it would be Spider-Woman. We don't know.
Well, granted, I mean, Jessica Drew has black hair, but like I don't think that they would cast her as Spider-Woman. Like Spider-Woman's one of those that could get their own solo movie, so why would you want to put her in another one? So.
Agreed. It'll be interesting as we get more updates, just like with Madam Web, like we've been doing. As we get more updates with that, we'll definitely let everybody know.
Yeah, so far good for Sony. Two good casts so far.
Yeah, making a lot of good decisions. Next thing though, we've been very passionate about Miss Marvel, and Miss Marvel poster dropped, Miss Marvel trailer dropped. Even though after all these extensive reshoots, it does appear they will be moving forward with the gauntlets. She's still stretchy.
She's still stretchy a little bit. I don't know to what extent.
Yes.
And it looks like she's still stretchy, but like there is a energy around.
Right. Marvel and Disney's new obsession with as being as vague as possible and including energy glows into everything. Yeah.
Like there's a scene where she's doing like she's in the air jumping and she's definitely stretchy. Her back legs are like freaking. So they're just surrounding her stretchiness with energy.
It almost looks like Captain Marvel's powers when her fist glows.
The one thing I can say is if they're basing this off of Kree tech, which is very possible because like the little emblem on the gauntlet kind of looks like Captain Marvel's star. My hope is that this gauntlet either has Terrigen as a part of it, and so it's like unlocking that ability before she goes through Terrigenesis, if that is the direction they decide to go.
For the people that may not know, can you explain Terrigenesis?
The Inhumans are another like species in Marvel. Like there's the X-Men, they have the X gene. There's Inhumans, which have like an Inhuman gene. When they are exposed to a certain element that is in or Terrigen, they are cocoonized. And then when they kind of explode from their cocoon, they either have powers or they don't. And
that often comes in mist form.
Yeah, so like it's when a crystal breaks, it just the mist fills the room, and this is the storyline used in the Avengers game for Xbox and Sony and PC and stuff. That there was an A-Day, and there's a giant Terrigen crystal powering this Quinjet. The jet exploded, and Terrigen basically covered the entire New York City. Kamala Khan, being a fan of the Avengers, was at A-Day or Avengers Day or whatever and got exposed to it, and so she gets her slappy hands or whatever. Yeah, so Terrigenesis would be the process of them getting exposed to the Terrigen crystal, becoming an Inhuman, which they are, and having a different skill set afterwards. I'm hoping that by the end of it she like loses her gauntlets, but then like either she's exposed to Terrigen and then like she realized that the gauntlets were just making her what she was before she is what she is.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're moving forward with the gauntlet. Yeah. A big part of it, I was thinking about this couple days ago. I guess I thought it would have been yesterday, but I think it was a couple days ago. I think they're doing it for marketing value because I mean they have sold the 10 rings are a kid's toy that you can buy. I'm gonna guess part of it is marketing so they can market the Miss Marvel gauntlet to kids. So I do think part of it why they've changed her powers is instead of making her just like an action figure and dolls, is now they can also sell the gauntlets. I do think it's primarily a marketing decision, and they don't know what to do with Inhumans yet. I think that's part of it. However, we were talking today, there's a lot of mist in the trailer.
Ton of mist.
There's a ton of
all
mist.
All over the place.
And either that's them trying to hide certain things like in pre-production to not show stuff, or maybe that's a sign that there is the Terrigenesis in the air.
There's in the trailer, the boy that she's like obsessed with, his name is Cameron. Actually, in the comics, those two are exposed to Terrigenesis and they're both Inhumans, except he actually turns like a blue silhouette of himself, kind of like Dr. Manhattan, and he can like put energy into something so he can make things like explode.
Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting if that's the direction they go. It seems like they're really just turning her into like a Captain Marvel fangirl with gauntlets.
Yeah, and another theory I saw is that the gauntlets would have been like someone would have wielded them prior, so like they were like a former Kree warrior or something like that.
I really hope it's not Kree based. I really hope it's not Kree.
Theory essentially is like when she puts those on, she sees what the past like Kree warrior was seeing. So like when she like falls and goes into like a different dimension, she could be seeing like what the Kree warrior prior like was going through at that time. And I've also seen like the bands allow her to go into the negative zone, which is something they haven't talked about yet, but that could also be like where the Fantastic Four are, possibly. They could be in the quantum realm, they could be in the negative zone.
We've mentioned the quantum realm before, how the quantum realm is too big for them not to jump into a focus on it. Like it's too big. Like it's not supposed to be affected by anything that like the snap shouldn't have affected anything in the quantum realm. The quantum realm isn't affected by the same time laws. They really need to get into the discussion of the quantum realm.
Scott Lang was in the quantum realm for 5 hours, but in the real world it was 5 years.
And yet Hank Pym's wife came out and she's aged.
Yeah, it wasn't in a time vortex and she's got powers now.
We need to get more into that and get some details. I don't see Miss Marvel going there. I think the negative space would make more sense. Yeah. I guarantee I'm gonna love this show because of how low my expectations have gotten.
Right. Yeah, and it seems just like it seems fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it seems fun. It seems
after Moon Knight we're gonna need that.
We're gonna get Moon Knight and then Morbius and then Doctor Strange. That's what we're gonna get.
And then Obi-Wan episode 3 is coming out on the same day as the pre.
I don't know about that.
I don't like them having
that.
Yeah, I don't think that was smart. Like that's yet another decision. You're gonna take like there's gonna be like, oh, there was more people that watched Moon Knight's premiere episode than Miss Marvel's. Yeah, it's because Obi-Wan's out.
Yeah,
all the Star Wars
people are gonna be looking through and they're gonna be like, Obi-Wan episode 3. Well, I mean, I've seen the first 2. Really good. They're really, really good. Miss Marvel premiere. No, I'm gonna watch Obi-Wan.
Like even people like me, I said I haven't watched any of the new Star Wars stuff, but I'm interested in the Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like even a lot of people, when a lot of people don't know who Miss Marvel is, like just straight up, a lot of people don't know. They see Miss Marvel and they might even think like, oh, Captain Marvel. Like because a lot of people, things go by quick, just like they read headlines, they don't read anything beyond it. People process information quicker than they should. People might scroll past Miss Marvel and just not even notice what it is because it says Miss Marvel. And they assume it's Captain Marvel. They assume it's something else. Like that was another ad for the Marvel section of Disney Plus. Like they might just completely skip over it and go straight to Obi-Wan because they know 2 weeks prior Obi-Wan came out at this day.
Yeah, I showed my girlfriend the trailer, and I was voicing my frustrations about how like, all right, yeah, like her story was so cool, and they're like changing the whole thing. They're taking away from the fact like that she's like this young, strong woman dealing with body issues, like becoming an inhuman, which is weird and stuff like that. And she watched the trailer and she's like, I don't know all that stuff like you do, but this looks really good. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure like people who don't know Miss Marvel like to the core like we do, like are gonna think this looks really fun, like really good. And that's like her kind of TV show, you know what I mean? Like teenage drama, fun.
My wife doesn't. She's like, I don't know any of that stuff, but I agree with you guys. And I was like, Mindy Kaling fixes a lot of this. Sticking it with her would have been smart.
I think we're still gonna enjoy it, but it's like we're gonna be critical of it.
The change to a gauntlet better impact the plot. Like the gauntlet, if the ability, like if the show doesn't really change at all by making sure she just has the inhuman powers, like if the show doesn't change, if you just keep her the way she is in the comics, I'll be pretty upset because then I'll know it was just 100%. Oh, I wanted to be able to market gauntlets.
Yeah, or make her be able to compete with Captain Marvel and Photon on screen. Like, when in reality, you can do that without giving her energy-based powers. Like she can still be awesome and badass by stretching around.
We'll recap episodes. We'll let people know. We'll give reviews after every episode, and then after the finale, we'll give a whole series review.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to Iman Vellani. She does seem pretty freaking perfect for
100%. I agree. They cast well, and that was one of the things Mindy Kaling said when she joined in, is she celebrated the casting and wanted to help. Like Mindy Kaling wanted to be an advisor. She didn't want like executive producer role. She just wanted to make sure they did things right. That was it. Yeah, I'm excited for it. My expectations have been lowered because I want to stick to
Black Widow or Miss Marvel though.
For what?
Lowest expectations.
My expectations for Black Widow were probably a little bit higher.
Okay.
Just because like I didn't know what to expect, what they were gonna do. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Next topic though. This one I actually didn't think it was gonna be that big of news.
I didn't know about this. This is all you.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was gonna be that. Me. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of news, because I was like, oh, I really like that actor and he's cast in it. But then I did some digging, and obviously it's Marvel. I did some research, and all of a sudden I found 6 million things that could be amazing. So they hired Greene. For those of you who don't know, Greene is a Native American actor who is incredible. If you see his face, I guarantee you say like, oh, I've seen him in something before.
Oh, he definitely fits the like friend of the father. Yeah.
Greene, like I said, he's Native American. There is a character in the Echo comic book series, and Greene was cast in Echo in an unnamed role. Well, in the Echo comic book series, after a lot of the events that happened in Hawkeye that kind of match up in the comic book series, Echo goes to visit the Chief. The Chief is a friend of her father's. Yeah. I think Greene is going to be playing the Chief because he's supposed to be a Native American who is older. And I was like, this is just perfect. You hired a great actor to play a prominent role who you can put in as much or as little as you want in this show. It happens. She visits the Chief after she shoots Kingpin in the face in the comics. There's a lot of stuff that happened before that didn't happen. Like in the comics, before she shoots Kingpin in the face, she had fallen in love with Matt Murdock.
Who doesn't? I mean, honestly.
And she didn't know that Matt Murdock was Daredevil, and her whole life she wanted to kill Daredevil, and at one point she does defeat Daredevil, was going to kill him, and then takes off his mask, realizes it's Matt, and her whole world changed. A whole lot of stuff happened before shooting Kingpin in the face that didn't happen. The things that did mesh up here where she shot Kingpin in the face. Now she doesn't know what to do. She's going to go visit the chief because her whole world's flipped upside down. She wants to find more information about her father and that sort of thing. I think that's next. The show is going to open with her with the chief trying to decide her next path in life. In the comic book series, the chief advises her he gives her advice on what to do next.
Sure.
One of the things that she does is goes out and she's like, while in this search, this path of new life, she meets Wolverine, which I'm not sure if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it might be a little too early for that.
But Wolverine teaches her about the Yakuza and the Asian organized crime, and it's there after she learns about Asian organized crime where she's offered to join the Young Avengers, and she declines and takes on the name of Ronin, which obviously we can see with Hawkeye and that sort of thing. That storyline is a little bit messy.
Yeah, I can see them doing Echo. Obviously, Echo is going to be a series probably before Daredevil season 4. I can definitely see her going toe-to-toe with Daredevil.
Well, that's the thing is Daredevil keeps beating her, and then she realizes his weakness because that's her specialty, is recognizing weaknesses in the people she fights, and she fights him in a place that's loud and boisterous, so he can't use his powers.
Right, and she's deaf, right? So she's not going to hear anything either.
And the comic book describes it as she handily beats him, where it's not even a match because he can't use his abilities.
In a regular setting, Netflix Daredevil would stomp her.
Right, and that's the thing, is she loses multiple times in the comic books too. But and it's that after she becomes Ronin, that's where the comic books just go crazy with her. After adopting the name of Ronin, she gets defeated in multiple different scenarios. She helps the Avengers kind of, but then her whole then she becomes she goes on a quest to take on Kingpin, who's made his way back after reconstructive eye surgery. And then there's a point where she's part of World War Hulk, which we know is a thing
probably coming
out. She's one of the people that Hulk destroys on his way to getting Doctor Strange.
Sure.
Her job is being one of the people to protect Doctor Strange along with Hawkeye and somebody else. Sure. And it was during that she falls in love with Hawkeye, which we know is not going to happen in this show because the age difference is all they've made it clear Hawkeye is going to have a happy family. So we know that storyline's not. The next storyline that happens is she becomes the new Phoenix in the comic books. So I don't think any of that's going to happen.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And she becomes the Phoenix because she gets a piece of the Phoenix in her and has to fight. She fights Namor, and Namor destroys her. Yeah. But the fact that she seems
to lose a lot.
She gets destroyed a lot in the comics. It's her refusal to give up and die. The Phoenix decides to choose her as the permanent vessel, and she becomes the new Phoenix. I don't think any of that's going to happen. Graham Greene, however, getting cast, I do think means they plan on following some comic book storyline with her. I think he's 100% going to be the Chief, which is the name in the comic book. They might give him a name just because they probably don't want to be offensive, and some people might get offended with that name. Offensed. But I do think that she is going to potentially be show up in Daredevil at some point. Yeah. Because she's the one that puts the white hand on her face. Oh yeah, she joins up to fight and defeat Elektra at one point too.
Okay, yeah, she's very similar. I'm getting more Elektra vibes from her, but Elektra is obviously worse.
Yeah, Elektra takes over and becomes the leader of the Hand, and she's part of the people to help defeat the Hand.
Sure.
I just thought that was big. I thought originally I was like, oh, Graham Greene, that's an awesome actor, and then I was like, let's look into this. What are some characters in Echo
really good
that he could play? I think he's going to be the Chief.
Just two things. Sure. Want to lead right into it?
No, you only get one. You only get one.
You mentioned Phoenix. Yeah. And just a little part of me wants, because Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is going to bounce around through a bunch of different things. I want Jean Grey to show up for a second just to put Wanda in her place, just for a split second, and then maybe get yeeted off somewhere. Yeah, that's just a small part of me.
I think that would be cool, but I'd be worried if Jean Grey even tries, she's going to kill Wanda.
Yeah. So, but in X-Men Apocalypse, James McAvoy's like, Jean, be free. I don't know what he says. Unleash yourself, Jean. And then she just goes full Phoenix Force and just destroys Apocalypse. That's something to destroy Apocalypse. So what if James McAvoy's there and he's like, Jean, unleash your, and then portal closes, or I don't know. I just the split part of me just like, because that's one of the people I can just see that completely could stop Wanda.
Right, like Wanda gives her everything, and Phoenix just kind of stands there without doing any sort of intense action. Just stands there and just sends it all right back at Wanda.
Second thing was you mentioned World War Hulk. Oscar Isaac was asked if you would ever want Moon Knight to meet Hulk, and he just simply said, "I could see that happen."
Well, what happened with what did we talk about last week?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just to pivot off what we said last week. He's like, yeah, I could see that happen.
Yeah. Last week, Mark Ruffalo was spotted with Oscar Isaac, and we said the rumor is that Hulk is going to show up in Moon Knight, and that Hulk is being in everything. He was in the end of Shang-Chi. He's supposed to be in Secret Invasion. He's going to be in She-Hulk, potentially now in Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's necessarily going to be a huge into Secret Invasion. Right. Because it would be kind of like how like Shang-Chi and Wong at the Sanctum Sanctorum kind of like asked for his opinion. Like, it was like kind of like that. That's what I think it's Secret Invasion, because Secret Invasion is like space. Right. It's gonna be space, possibly a Skrull invasion on Earth.
But if World War Hulk is supposed to start with Planet Hulk, we can assume that Hulk will be in space.
Right. But I think Hulk is also going to get the Earth heroes together before he goes nuts. That was the one thing. Oscar Isaac said that, yeah, I could see that happen. And also, I mean, we talked about this last week too, that Oscar Isaac said that this is the most challenging role he's ever been put through.
Understandable.
Yeah. So,
I think James McAvoy said the same thing about Split, and that's a similar character.
So someone from the production team said like, oh, it's not like tied directly to anything in the MCU or whatever. It's kind of like its own story right now. And a new TV spot for it, a very small, short TV spot, about a minute long, shows the NRP, the National Replacement Program or something like that. That debuted in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was basically showed that when they came back from the blip, was finding these people who no longer had their homes, finding them new homes. Right. So there's an NRP or GRC. Something
the NGRPC.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, one of those two. I want to say it's the GRC, but
RESPECT.
That debuted in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that is straight up referencing another MCU project. Yeah, Marvel consulted multiple like psychiatrists and like psychological experts.
A couple experts. Specialists on dissociative identity disorder.
To get that right. In the TV spot, it has, spoiler alert, it has Stephen Grant. You see it in the trailer of him like running through a storage unit, like storage units. In the storage unit, presumably, and he sees the reflection of Mark Spector. I mean, they're the same person, right? Right. Stephen Grant's like, who are you? What are you doing? And Mark's like, you weren't supposed to find out. So like Mark Spector has a very American accent. Whereas Stephen Grant is like British, Egypt, and he's in Egypt now. So that's another thing where it's like, when we see Mark Spector eventually, who's I assume like the mercenary from the comics, he's gonna be very American, and then Stephen Grant is gonna be this British guy that doesn't really know what's going on.
I think dissociative identity disorder is fascinating.
Yeah.
I remember doing a final project on dissociative identity disorder when I was doing it in a psychology class. You said one has like British accent, one's American accent, one's like a murderer and like vigilante, and the other one, just like
very passive, like scared museum attendant.
And
then Jake Lockley, a third one, is just like a taxi driver.
Right, exactly. Like they can have different professions, they can be different genders, they can have different accents, they can be left-handed while some can be right-handed. Like I can't remember if it was Sybil was her. I think that was the one where she was drawing with both hands because she had two personalities trying to fight for position. She was drawing with both hands. Like they just that.
There's another
in the human mind, man.
So I believe last week or yesterday, all the projects all the Netflix projects got added for Wednesday. All the Netflix projects
had to update my Disney Plus account.
So all of those got added. In Iron Fist season 2. They have someone in the show called Typhoid Mary. She's essentially someone that has DID as well. One of them is like this mercenary type assassin person. The other person is just like this. She's like scared almost. She like writes herself notes like, don't leave the apartment, leave the door shut, lock the door, something like that. Then she's just kind of like a diner attendant. And then by the end of it, they're like, wait, how did she escape the prison and kill like 38 people? And it's like, it wasn't her first or second personality. Like it wasn't either of those two.
So it was another one that they didn't know of.
The typhoid, the third one. So that's two instances where you see it. But I'm very excited for it. One more thing. So through just the time frame of what the MCU, the blip happened roughly May 2018 in the new TV spot Moon Knight Secret Agent. He has a passport, and the passport was renewed in December of 2018. Mark Spector, and it was Mark Spector's passport. So Mark Spector was in control at that point, and he got a new passport. Therefore, you can assume that Mark Spector survived the blip, and he is 38 years old based on what his birthday said on that same passport. So
yeah, we were just talking about this. I like that he's slightly older. Disney Marvel said they wanted to go younger with most of the future roles that they cast. I'm glad they decided to not do, because like some of the other people that were in the running for Moon Knight were Shia LaBeouf, Taron Egerton, like some of these younger guys.
Rami Malek.
I'm glad that they decided not to go with them. I'm glad Oscar Isaac got the cast. I think he's going to be fantastic. Now that we're done with Moon Knight talk, one last Marvel news. It kind of fits into our miscellaneous as well, since he wasn't just a Marvel actor. Rest in peace, William Hurt. I actually heard the news from my wife, which my wife does not like Marvel. So that shows you that he's not just a Marvel actor. He's actually been an actor in over 100 different projects. Like, he's been around for a long time. 71 natural causes. They couldn't find anything else. It was just his time. It's sad to hear. He was planned for multiple future roles. I mean, we have a previous episode talking about, I even posted a mock-up of him as Red Hulk, because he was potentially going to be Red Hulk in World War Hulk. He's been in like 8 or 9 Marvel movies already now, and other people might know him from The Host, Robin Hood, Lost in Space, a lot of other ones. But I was super sad to hear that. My wife told me, and then I saw you tweeted it. You tweeted about it, and it's just, it was super sad.
I think it's just any time someone from the MCU passes, it's gonna hurt a little bit.
So I mean, Stan Lee is probably one of the celebrity deaths that's hit me pretty hard. I think Robin Williams still has hit me the hardest. Not gonna lie, Robin Williams is. I was driving when I heard the news, and I had to pull over so that I could cry because I couldn't see through the tears. So that death's hit me the hardest by a long shot. But not to say take away from anything else. This one was still extremely sad. So we just want to say rest.
Yeah, Chadwick was tough.
Chadwick was tough. Stan Lee was extremely difficult. Betty White was very hard. Alan Rickman was very difficult. Just really sad. But yeah, we want to say rest in peace. Let's move on to some happier news with our miscellaneous section. First is DC. Speaking of beloved actors, one of my favorites is he's like the Nickelback actors, because there's just so much material out there. There's so much material out there, and so many people hate a lot of the material, but the people that love the material, huge fans. I'm one of those huge fans, both of Nickelback and of Nick Cage. Says he was talking during an interview, and he wants to work with Matt Reeves, first of all, and he wants the Batman sequel to involve a villain called Egghead, and he wants to play Egghead. Right. I don't know how many times. I apologize for sometimes repeating things a lot on this podcast, but we've said it. When an actor says, I want to do something, I want to play a role, a lot of the times those actors tend to be major hits. Nick Cage says he already has theories and different things going on in his head about Egghead, how he would portray it in this version of Batman's world, and how he thinks he would be able to work it with Matt Reeves. He just says Matt Reeves needs to give him a call. I want that to happen so bad. I want that to, so first of all, it's Nick Cage. Right. Who has proven he will take pay cuts to be in movies. Yeah. So it's not like you have to make him a top billed actor.
Right, I'm sure he'd want to show up just to get a Ghost Rider cameo.
Right, yeah, he would 100% be a Ghost Rider cameo for half a second.
Yeah, exactly. So that, and then Doctor Strange can be like, I gotta go find Johnny Blaze in our universe.
Yeah, Egghead. Nick Cage's Egghead would be, I think he'd kill it. I absolutely think he'd kill it. And Matt Reeves proved he's good at director. So let's see it. Let's do it. Do it up, Matt. Give him a call. Last two things on miscellaneous section. First thing, I love Sonic. I played the games growing up for Sega. I loved them. I have them on this computer. I love it. First Sonic movie came out. I couldn't have been happier. I love Ben Schwartz. Great. And I like James Marsden. James Marsden looks exactly like my dad looked in high school, and it's creepy. Like when my dad's senior photo, the first time I saw it, I thought it was James Marsden. And I was like, that's my dad, and I didn't even recognize. It's so weird.
Maybe James Marsden is your dad.
I'd be like, all right, I can see it. My dad, I'd tell my mom, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. You have a type, clearly. It's eerily similar. Sure. It's creepy.
It's weird. My grandfather had a photo of him when he was 7 years old, and you take my photo at 7 years old, and it looks identical. There's no difference. It's just one of them black and white.
My uncle Mike I saw a picture of my Uncle Mike as a kid, and I thought it was a picture of me.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's so weird to see stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, my dad looks like James Marsden. That's not why I like him, but I love James Marsden a lot.
Your dad?
No, I don't like my dad. No. Yeah, I like James Marsden a lot, and he's a terrific singer, by the way. I hope he sings during Sonic 2. That'd be sweet. But yeah, Sonic 2 trailer dropped. We got to see more Tails. We got to see more Knuckles. We got to see the transformation of Eggman.
Chaos Emerald.
The Chaos Emerald. It's pretty awesome. Tails is different looking. Does not look the same as they looked in the end credit scene of Sonic. Little brightly colored, different shaped, but still more Tails-like. The poster is amazing.
Yeah.
The poster looks exactly like Sonic 2, the game.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. They just like straight up callback.
They love that. Yeah.
Eggman grabbing the 2.
Yeah.
It's so good. Idris Elba sounds great as Knuckles already.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that they're introducing the Chaos Emerald, because then at some point Shadow's coming. Chaos Control.
Well, and at some point, Knuckles has to join with Sonic to fight Shadow.
Yeah, Knuckles is not a bad.
And they're doing a spin-off with Knuckles.
Obviously, I mean, sexiest man alive.
Until Shadow comes out.
And then,
But yeah, so Sonic 2, the humor looks like it's back.
Yeah.
There's a point where it looks like people know that Sonic exists and the people are fine with it. They publicly use the ring at a wedding in the trailer. Looks like Sonic and Tails are doing missions together without James Marsden character. I'm blanking on his name right now. Sounds like they're doing their own thing. Like they're still in communication, but they're not always by each other like the first movie. So it just looks so awesome. And I feel ridiculous when I get excited about a Sonic movie. It just feels like, oh, I'm such a little kid. But man, it's like when I hear a new Pokemon game is coming out, a new Iceman solo things coming out, I'd be like, what? Sonic came out, and I'm so happy about it, and I could nerd out over it so hard. We have one last miscellaneous topic though, and that is that another childlike thing. I love animated movies. I usually prefer animated movies over live action, just because you can stretch reality a little bit more. You can test physics and people don't question it as much. I like the idea of voice acting, and I love the talent that is portrayed, and I am a fan of art. So I can embrace all of that in just a movie, and it really focuses on the score and soundtrack, which I also like. So it's just animated movies are my thing. Kung Fu Panda, in my opinion, is one of the greatest animated series of movies ever. A DreamWorks production. The first one is amazing. The second one is amazing. The third one is amazing. There's no bad movie out of the 3. So you don't always find that. You get Shrek. 1 and 2 are great. 3 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. 4 is incredible. It's not great, not incredible, but way better than the third. Despicable Me 1 and 2, great. Third one was terrible. You don't always get a bunch of good ones. Well, 1, 2, and 3 are great. It is announced there will be a series on new Kung Fu Panda series on Netflix, and Jack Black will be returning. A lot of times on these spin-offs, you don't get the original voice actors to play the main characters. And even on What If, you get the animated version of all these characters. It's not all of them came back to voice. There's not always you can get those actors, and a lot of time you can't afford to pay them as much. A lot of time you can't. They just don't want to do it. They're not interested. Jack Black's coming back, and I think that is huge news, because I believe the other Kung Fu Panda things that have been on Netflix, Jack Black was not in, and that's why they're not very popular. This new series will have Jack Black in it, and it's going to be awesome. I love Jack Black. He is energetic, but not everybody always says he's over the top, but I love it. He's so good.
He's very talented. He's a great singer too.
Good singer. He can play a bunch of different instruments. He's genuinely funny. He seems like one of those guys that he's not one of those actors that if you met off screen, he wouldn't tell you to F off.
Him in Jumanji was just hilarious.
Him in Jumanji was hilarious. He was the last guest ever on Conan O'Brien because of the mutual respect. He is and everybody our generation always thinks of School of Rock, but I always think of Jack Black now.
It's like the guest on American Idol, and then he's like, I want to sing. Then he sings Kiss from a Rose, and it was good, but then they're just all the judges are just playing into the bit, and they're like, horrible. And I was like, no, it's not. Listen
to him sing. Tenacious D is incredible. That's coming out, Kung Fu Panda, and we get to enjoy more Jack Black. I will appreciate every moment of Jack Black that I can get. Well then, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week for episode 40. And big celebration. And I did want to do a special shout out. Thank you to all those who have joined in and followed on Twitch and come over to watch us game. I did see that there was somebody in my Twitch chat that said I watch your Marvel podcast. So, or I found you through our Marvel podcast and Twitter. So, and thank the people that listen and watch this podcast as well. So, if you do enjoy, follow, like, subscribe, check us out on Twitch if you want to, Twitter, all the good things. Again, see you next week in episode 40. You all look great today. GG.
GG.